welcome to another SH Figuarts review. This is SH Figuarts Hardboilder for Kamen Rider Double. This is the second version of this bike to go with the real bone, the new version of the double figure. So I'm going to try one of the older figures on it. I'm going to compare this to one of the older bikes, and you know, we already know that the new figure does fit pretty well on the old bike already. So this is a Tamashii World exclusive, hence the cardboard box. The original was just a regular release. You'll see it in a moment. So front of the box shows the bike and Kamen Rider Double, the new version, standing right, next to it, riding it there, and top of the box and bottom of the box, and quickly at the back of the box. So, and you can see that the old one, the box was a little bit bigger, and it was released under the SH Figuarts EX. That was when SH Figuarts was still early days back then, so the branding was unsure. They weren't really sure how to go with the branding, but these days everything just SH Figuarts. There's no more D-Arts. There's O-Track is finishing, I think, so it's really mostly condensed back to the regular line, unless there's something really special with it. We have both bikes, the old one on the left and the new one on the right. The first thing you would notice when looking in the box is that the old one has a black plastic stand, whereas the new one has a transparent one. So, yeah. Second thing you notice is the weight. The new one has hardly any metal in it whatsoever, which is a huge disappointment if you have the old one. I have even a recent bike, the Kamen Rider Amazon's Jungler bike, had a big piece of die-cast metal in it, which really helped give it its bike feel, its weight, and its value. And also pretty nice shine on that bike as well. This bike does look good, but it doesn't have that weight to it, doesn't have the heft to it. It is light. It is very light. It by all means doesn't feel like it's fragile or anything. It's like something's missing, especially from a bike. This one it's heavy. Really heavy. So second thing we notice is the color. The colors on the new one is much more accurate. It is the Kamen Rider green. If you remember Kamen Rider Double, the series and its own movies, there was a sort of hint, a sort of greyish brownish filter to it, a little washed out color, because it's going slightly for a noir feel. So the old bike, the green here, actually looks like what it looks like in the show, but when Kamen Rider Double crosses over with the other riders in other movies where they have a more regular color tone, the color is actually more like this. So this is the actual natural color of Kamen Rider Double, whereas this, it's been filtered, just like in the show, if that makes sense. The paint detailing, not only is the paint nicer, because you want something accurate, you can always add the filters later on in your Photoshop or whatever. The silver is also a bit better, and the chain here is silver, whereas on the new one it's black and silver, so little bits of details here and there. But aside from that, in terms of paint job, the old and new are very similar. A little bit of extra silver there on top, and that's because on the top here you actually have a bike gauge. I don't know why I said it like that, but if you look in the center there is a bike gauge, and the old one does not, and you have more colors there, as well as a screw there holding the whole piece together. So there you go. Also a little bit of color difference, a shinier black for where they put the fuel in, I guess. And yeah, so on the back here, more details, extra details. Details on the back are so much nicer with the new one. You can see they actually molded all the details there, as well as adding a little white plaque and a little black thing around it to make the license plate look more realistic. And they've actually molded in transparent plastic for where the lights should be, whereas the old one is just flat green. And yeah, none of that detailing going on. To the other side, we have the same thing going on. Pretty much just a more accurate shape, better molding, more details, including here. Actually painted a bit of black there for the exhaust. So, and finally to the front, one of the biggest details is you actually have the extra two light pieces on each side of the W, and the red piece there is actually transparent, and the lights, they've actually molded the lights inside the bike, whereas this one just has transparent plastic there, but they've actually molded the light shape for the new one. So overall, the new one in terms of visual is far more accurate in terms of shape, sized. I mean, this bike looks really big, almost silly big, just like beefed up. But the tail end here is really, really droopy. So in terms of visual, the old bike is so much better. The colors are better, the shape's better, the molding's better, and the size of it's also better. This just looks kind of weird. What's this weird beak thing going on? It's like some sort of frog or like a bird's beak just drooping down. It looks kind of weird. So yeah, in terms of looks, much better. But in terms of like the size and weight and the feel of it, the old one is better because it has a big chunk of metal. Now there is one thing that's gone from the new one, and that's because for visual sense, if you look inside, like deeper into this bike, I noticed some extra detail that's actually hidden inside the bike. You can see the pipes and stuff, they all cross over, and the motor and engines all cross over, because this design of the new bike is actually based more on the actual bike or the actual prop that was used in the show. So it had to make sense. It had to, I want to showcase all of the extra piping. You see the bottom here, you got all these extra pipes and stuff. So this is far accurate to the actual bike used in the show. I think some sort of Honda bike, and both of them have the bike stand, of course. Whereas the old one doesn't have that. The old one at the bottom here, you see, it's just singular color, doesn't quite, everything gets cut off right then. That's because, if you remember, the old one has, if I can just pull it, oops, retained the feature for it to connect to the different pieces. You had the green and the red one that was released. They never released the blue one, I think. But you know, you can attach the red and the green thing to the back, and there's a bit of a die-cast metal on this side, so you can actually detach the old one and combine it with the two Bandai Premium add-on packs that you can get with this, which I also filmed and reviewed. So you got the plain set, the red one, and the big exhaust blue, green one. So you don't have that with the new one. You cannot separate. It is a singular bike, which brings me to the conclusion of whether or not you want to get the new one if you already have the old one. So for me, I am a big double fan, and I have the two add-on packs. So the old bike is going to stay here, and it's going to be used for adding it to the add-on packs. I'm not going to use it anymore on its own. It's like the gimmicky thing, the toyish, the kiddie version that will be used to play around with the other packs. I'm not going to use it just on its own anymore. I'm going to keep the new one for a singular display. So that's what I'm going to put on display. I'm going to box away the old one, and when I do use the add-on packs for like an animation or something, then I'll bring it out. If you don't have the old one and you're not bothered about those add-ons, then definitely get the new one, because it is cheaper overall than the old one, because the old one was originally quite hard to get because it's pretty old. So it got kind of rare, so the price went up, and when I got it, it was a little bit expensive, and as much as I love Double, it wasn't one of the first things I got in Figuarts. I actually waited a while before getting it. So that's something you have to consider about the price. But if you are bothered of the old one, of the old add-on packs, and you don't have either bike, then just get the old one first, because the new one is still, I'd say, still readily available around in shops and whatnot. So I don't think you need to hurry that much to get it. So both bikes are good. If you're not that big of a double fan, get the new one. If you're a big double fan, you still want to get the old one, which is kind of annoying, because that means you need to keep two Hardboilers at the same time. Unless you can sort of... No, you can't even paint the old one into Skull's bike, because you're going to have to paint the front red as well. So that's annoying. You can see the new figure obviously fits pretty well. Yep, sits very well. Someone can sit behind there if they really need to. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. And if you turn the wheel pretty well. Yeah, the figure still holds on pretty well. Suspension is pretty good. So yeah, in terms of the new figure, it fits good, fits well. So here's Comrade the Cyclone, the older figure, and it sits as well on this one, just as it does on the old one. So that's decent. So if you have any of the older figures and you didn't get the new one, then you're pretty good to go. Just a funny reminder though, The paint job on this one, especially down there, the inner joints are definitely rubbing off, and that's really annoying. In conclusion, this is a pretty decent bike. It's not the best bike out there for Kamen Rider. The other ones out there, they are much better done than this one, but this isn't bad. If you Kamen Rider double fan and you missed out on the old one, or don't want to pay the full price for the old one, then getting a new one, it's pretty good. It definitely looks better than the old one. It's just lacking some of the functions. So, yeah, pretty good. Forget to mention that says Tamashi Stage Ag hole for your stage ag and posing purposes. If you watch this video, that means you like Kamen Rider, or you like Kamen Rider Double, or you like bikes. So, yeah, we've reviewed quite a lot of Kamen Rider bikes on this channel, so you can check those videos out. They're, all 1/12 scale vehicles, and I've also reviewed over 100 of Kamen Rider SH Figuarts figures, so you can see all of that on this channel right now. There's also playlists depending on different series. I've also reviewed other figures, DC, Marvel, Alien, Predator, etc. Please check out my videos. If you like them, click the like button, subscribe button, and share these with other people. I would appreciate that so much. You can also support this channel by heading over to Patreon. I also have an animation channel, which is just Digger 318, without the toy review bit. And if you support Patreon, you're supporting that as well. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can just turn ad block off. That would mean so much to me. And thanks a lot for watching this video. Take care. Have a nice day. I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.